north again, and the frost slowly thawed in the dawn. It takes a faithful breath to put a weary mind at rest and still remember the narrow bridge we're on. Troubled times, you don't ease a worried mind. Troubled times, just stay behind. Troubled times, you don't ease a worried mind. Troubled times, just stay behind. The woods are turned to stones, and the feeling of wonder is nearly gone. But in the cracks of barren land, a beauty grows unplanned. So we just keep to the narrow bridge we're on. Troubled times, you don't ease a worried mind. Troubled times, just stay behind. Troubled times, you don't ease a worried mind. Troubled times, just stay behind. From the lowland so low to high up on the ridge, Gesher Tsar Me'od.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. On this Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat that falls between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Sabbath of return. Wonderful to be able to share this time with you and, of course, to share it with Rabbi Kupitz. Shalom, Rabbi.
Shalom, shalom. It's good to I'm taking off your spotlight. Shalom, shalom. It's good to see everyone. Shabbat shalom. As Cantor Paul mentioned, it is a special Shabbat this week called Shabbat Shuvah. And you'll see that we have some special pieces of liturgy that are they're insertions that are included on Yom Kippur and on Rosh Hashanah and on the days in between. So we will have those as part of our service today. And of course, we are getting ready for Yom Kippur, which starts this Sunday evening with our Kol Nidre service. So we're going to begin with a little music to continue into that process and move us toward Yom Kippur and continue us in our High Holy Day season.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Join me at home if you haven't yet. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn again. Last time, very quiet. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul.
So this is a time of return, returning to a deeper connection with the Holy One, turning to a deeper connection with our community, returning to a deeper connection with our best selves as we move through this period, Aseret Yamei Tshuva, the 10 days of repentance that, or the 10 days of awe that end with Yom Kippur. And as we move through our service today, you'll continue to hear some of the melodies, some of the motifs that we hear during our High Holy Days. But we're going to turn now to kindling our Shabbat lights. And they're burning there behind Cantor Paul. So you can see them there. I'm going to spotlight him so that you can see the lights there. And we're going to join. Please join us from home. We'll join in the blessing over our Shabbat lights.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kineshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Now we will continue with Lecha Dodi. I'm going to share my Siddur with you, but it's taking a moment to open, and I was not proactive about it. So we can, I think we can probably start with the chorus, which everybody knows, and get into it, and I will, whatever you're doing, Cantor Paul, with Lecha Dodi, I'll put it up in 1 second. All right. So
just a little moment of review of the week as we prepare for Lecha Dodi. So I invite everybody to take a deep cleansing breath. As we inhale and we relax and we support Rabbi as he welcomes the technology. So Rabbi mentioned that everybody knows the chorus, which is largely true. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat netkabla. It's up there on the top, but there is a tradition in some European communities that the melodies that we use for Lecha Dodi are very closely tied to the season and the Torah portion often, but in this case, there is a special melody for Shabbat Tshuva. I can't hear you singing it with me. We've sung it, I think, every year that I've been at TBI. And I'm just going to do it a cappella and see. Maybe at home you can get it. I'll do it first as a nigun. It goes like this. La 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 la. So if I was to sing Lecha Dodi, it would go Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. So that's the first part, and then we tend to repeat Lecha Dodi, and then it goes Lai 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 lai. So the second part is like this. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. And in case anybody's interested, I've got this melody from a book published in the 1880s by a cantor named Avram Ber, who was the cantor in Sweden, but he was very well connected with the European tradition. So let's try it together. You ready? 1, 2, here we go. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem u'l'tiferet ve'l'tchila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha Ki hi mekor habracha Merosh mikadem nesucha Sof ma'aseh bat makshva techila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech Kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich negila, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uv'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
We continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei Echai echon uv'yom echon uv'chayei echon b'ed Yisrael Bag gala bagala uvizman kariv veimeru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mivarach Le'lam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yirobam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ve'ama ve'imeru Amen.
Continue with Baruchu, our call to prayer.
La da 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 da, ya 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 da 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 da. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Yada die die die, 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 yada die die die.
Last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30.
El Chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Hamariv Haravi.
Amen. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. The more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Ve'ahavatecha atasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch Ata Adonai.
Baruch Shemo.
Oivamo Israel.
Amen. Continue with Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad.
Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you're tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. We continue with Leman Tizkaru.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet.
Emet. Our Song of Freedom, Micha Mocha, page 40.
Yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 yada dai 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 mi chamocha bailim Adonai mi chamocha nedar hakodesh nora tehilot osei fele osei Malchut Charau Vanecha Vokayam Lifnei Moshe Miriam Malchut Charau Vanecha Vokayam Lifnei Moshe Miriam Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Seli Anu ve'ameru Adonai imlu Lelam lelam daen Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 Yada dai 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 V'ne'emar Kifad Adonai et Yaakov Ugoalo Biyad Chazak Mimenu Baruch Ata Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
Gal Yisrael.
Amen. Page 42, Hashkivenu, as we ask the Holy One to watch over us as we lie down. Let us lie down in wholeness and in peace and to wake up with a sense of purpose every day.
Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu leShalom. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu leShalom. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu leShalom. Hashkivenu ya Eloheinu ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום, ואתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Shemo.
הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו, סוכת שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
Amen. We give thanks for Shabbat. Join in Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Israel et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
As we move into our Amidah, the first three blessings of the Amidah after Adonai Tzvatai Tiftach all have changes for this Shabbat Shuvah. We have additions in our Avot and Imahot prayer and in our Divurot prayer for the High Holy Day season. And then our Chatimah, the ending of our Kedushah prayer, changes.
Sorry, Robert.
It's okay. Changes with the to Hamelech Hakadosh instead of Ha'el Hakadosh, as we reinforce God's reign during these high holy days. So we're going to begin with Adonai Tzvatai Tiftach, and then we will shift mid-prayer as we add our insertions.
Adonai Sephatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. Zochreinu lechaim, Melech, Melech, Hafetz v'chaim. Zochreinu lechaim, Melech, Melech, Hafetz v'chaim. Chodveinu b'sefer chaim, למענך אלוהים חיים. תורנו לחיים, מלך מלך חפץ בחיים. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך מלך חפץ בחיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo.
מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה.
Amen.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים וחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופך חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, מי ידעו. Try that again, sorry. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לה, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אב הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo.
מחיי הכל.
Amen. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo.
HaMelech HaKadosh.
Amen.
Please take a few moments for private reflection, and then there will be a musical offering by Dr. Randy Polivoy. Shabbat Shalom, Randy.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom to everyone, and Shana Tova as well. I am going to play a song that many of you are familiar with. It's called Yedid Nefesh. But before I do, I just wanted to say a few words. I was so impressed with the outcome of the virtual Rosh Hashanah service, so I wanted to say a Yashir Koach to Paul and his sound engineering team for such a beautiful job. I don't think anyone realizes how many hours are involved in putting together a service like this. So many hours of meticulous, tedious work to put everything together and give a good flow. And so just a beautiful, meaningful service. So thank you again for that. I was a little bit hard-pressed to come up with appropriate music for this particular Shabbat. So I am going to do Yedid Nefesh. This is a musical setting of a poem that reflects the author's intense love for God. And this poem is commonly attributed to the 16th century Sephardic Kabbalist, Rabbi Elazar ben Moshe Zikri, I believe, if I'm reading it correctly. However, there's no proof that he actually wrote the poem conclusively. The translation reads as follows: Heart's delight, source of mercy, draw your servant unto your arms. I leap like a deer to stand in awe before you. And I think another interesting point of this particular poem is that the first four letters of each of the verses of the song, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, make up the four letters for the Hebrew name of God. So, kind of a mystical component to that. Yedid Nefesh.
Beautiful. Thank you, Randy. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hope people are doing okay out there. And it was wonderful, even virtually, to spend Rosh Hashanah with so many of you and to see some of you at Tashlich, and looking forward to being with you for Yom Kippur, the Sunday night and Monday. So I'm going to go back to that time at Tashlich for a moment. Pockets full of breadcrumbs or other things that might be more environmentally friendly. We make our way to the edge of a body of water to cast away our sins. So there have some who have thought that different kinds of bread should be used for different kinds of sins. For ordinary sins, you can use white bread. Exotic sins, French bread. Particularly dark sins, pumpernickel. Complex sins, multigrain. Twisted sins, pretzels. For tasteless sins, rice cakes. Sins of indecision, we've got waffles. For being ill-tempered, we have sourdough. Silliness, we have nut bread. Bad jokes, cornbread. For warmongering, we have Kaiser rolls. For causing injury or damage to others, we have torts. For being holier than thou, bagels. For sins of pride, puff pastry. Just a little levity as we move into Yom Kippur. If we wanted to be cynical, we might very well ask what good it does to toss our crumbs, even from sin-appropriate bread, into the water. What do we really want from that act? And at some level, what we want is to engage as a full body, not just in our mind, with a sense of, to get a sense of closure, to get a sense of casting off that which we want to leave behind this year. I think much of the time we walk around with a guilty conscience, that nagging little voice that keeps score and reminds us of our latest sins of omission and commission. The voice says, "You haven't called your mother in 3 days, you know," or what you said about Jeremy wasn't very nice, or why didn't you tell him how much you appreciate what he did, or so many things. They remember, that inner voice remembers these conversations. It remembers yesterday and all the yesterdays of long ago. It urges us to work for healing and for reconciliation. But we sometimes ignore that inner voice. Why? Often I think it's because we think to ourselves, it's not worth it. The return is too small. It's too hard. It won't work. The excuses we make to ourselves to excuse ourselves from doing the work we need to do in our own life, in our own hearts, and from reaching out to those that we have hurt. There's a cartoon of an elephant lying on a psychiatrist's couch, dabbing his eyes with tissues. And the psychiatrist is telling him, "Of course, I know you will never forget, but you need to work on forgiving." We need forgiveness. We crave forgiveness. Again and again during Yom Kippur, we will seek forgiveness from God, saying, "Salachti, salachti kidvarecha." Forgive me according to your word, as you have promised. Surely if God can forgive, then we can forgive as well. Are we so stiff-necked, so unbending that we're unable to forgive? One of my teachers, Rabbi Harold Schulweis, taught, the purpose of prayer is not the adulation of God, but the imitation of God, not the admiration of God, but the emulation of God's ways. And the rabbis spelled out the moral correlation. As God is merciful, you shall be merciful. As God is compassionate, you shall be compassionate. As God forgives, you shall forgive. There's a sense here that God forgives in the Jewish tradition for what we call averot bein adam l'makom, sins between a human being, and God. But God does not forgive for sins between Adam v'chavero, a human being, and another human being, and the human being's fellow, unless we have done work to try to right the wrong, to try to repair the damage, to try to seek forgiveness. We need to do what we can to make restitution or do whatever is needed to put things right. To grow and change then is to do what we know in our hearts of hearts is the right thing to do. We have to learn to ask for forgiveness and to forgive. It's no accident that I speak of these things on this Shabbat, known as Shabbat Shuvah, the Sabbath of return. To learn to forgive is an act of return, a return to being whole. Is it hard? Sure is. Returning to wholeness, becoming ourselves is hard. Sometimes it even hurts. There are two kinds of suffering. There's toxic suffering and sacred suffering. Toxic suffering is when we are unhappy because life is not fair. Sacred suffering is when we recognize our pain and troubles as challenges to be met and opportunities for growth. Toxic suffering breeds resentment over things of which we have no control. Sacred suffering gives us the chance for renewal. There's so much challenge in the world today, so much suffering in our lives and the lives of people we know. Unfortunately, in so many of those ways, in the ways that are out of our control, we don't have any power to change that. But we can have things that are in our power to reach out to others, to offer hope and love, to find opportunities for growth. And of course, our High Holy Days ask us to focus on those things. So on this Sabbath of return, we ask God to help us return to ourselves and to others in wholeness, to let go of our hurt and commit ourselves to reconciliation and the possibilities for renewal. Shabbat Shalom. And now we're going to turn to Misha Berach. I'm going to reshare the Siddur. So give me just 1 minute, Cantor Paul, as I share the prayer book. Okay.
O Holy One, who blessed our mothers, who blessed our fathers from ancient days, bless and heal those in our hearts. Hear our prayer as we say their names. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yimalei Rachamim Aleichem, Lahapsikam Ulrapa'otam, Shlema Rifuat HaNefesh, Rifuat HaGuf, B'toch Sha'ar Chonei Yisrael. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their name.
We ask for blessings upon Rebecca Gilman, Bela Pasternak, Hannah Fields Austin, Aaron Goichenberg, Sue Tobak, Alicia Goldfarb, Paula Steinbach, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Gabrielle Silton, Pam Poliakoff, Connie Shapiro, Kathy Blumenfeld, Gloria Austin, Caitlin Antrim, Judith Bosworth, Kathy Brewster, Doug Austin, David Bush, Stephanie Holland, Mark Goldberg, Maureen Fenton, Jennifer Rudin, Susan Brewer, Charity Raisaday, James Stead, Ed Ansell, Marion Snyders, Kimberly Zimmerman, Lori Snyder, Brad Holland, Isley Holland, Jacob McNaughton, Bernie Carmatz, Mike Klein, Beatrice Caden, Meg Silton, Ken Mitchell, Linda Jones, Henry Gerard, Kirby Perkins, Brenda Fang Gerard, Serena Postal, and John Hodges.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yemalei Rachamim Aleichem. Oh, bless and keep those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
I'd like to invite Laura Zuckerman to turn on her camera and her microphone and share some announcements.
All right. Shabbat Shalom and good Yom Tov, everyone. Sincere thanks to a wonderful service, to Rabbi and Cantor, and beautiful words and music from Randy Polavoy. A couple of things I'd like to highlight tonight. The TBI preschool has been open since August 31st with happy and healthy children, parents, and staff. Registration remains open. For families here and across the country, keeping young ones at home, we have launched TBI Virtual Preschool with varied weekly content on various online platforms, with the high quality you've come to expect from TBI Preschool. Registration is open. Beit Sefer has begun, which is online for now. Hebrew classes for grades 4 to 7 began this week very successfully. This Sunday will be our first day of Sunday school for grades K to 7, and everything will be starting off well, led by our new interim Beit Sefer director, Natalie Horwitz, and our new Beit Sefer assistant, our very own Sarah Cohen. For adult Jewish learning, Gary Gilbert's Israel bookshelf continues this Wednesday with a fascinating book and what will be a fascinating discussion. The book is called The War of Return, and I encourage you to join the Zoom even if you haven't read the book. You will learn things and you will enjoy the discussion, I'm sure. Gary, of course, will lead it and will be accompanied this week by our congregant, Arthur Weinstein. So details about everything I've mentioned are in your weekly update, which comes on Thursday afternoons into your inbox. And with that, I say Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Laura. I have a few announcements to add. Of course, the first, and this was the one I shouldn't have to make, but I'll make anyway, which is that Sunday night is the beginning of Yom Kippur, and our Kol Nidre service is at 7:30. You should have received links if you are a renewed TBI member. If you are not, if you have not received them, send me an email and I will get them out to you right away if for some reason you didn't receive them. And then if we have a whole day of Yom Kippur programming and services on Monday. So check your schedule for all of those things. We are also in the midst of our High Holy Day appeal. There was a link to the appeal on the schedule that went out Thursday morning, and our High Holy Days food drive. So you can bring bags of food to Temple Beth Israel Monday through Friday, except this Monday, which is Yom Kippur, between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Leave it outside of room 12, and it will get put into the classroom, or Greg will come over while you're there and help you out with it. So those are two important things that are happening. We also do have Havdalah tomorrow night at 7:30 on our regular Havdalah Zoom Siyum channel. Would have been in your TBI update. that's also broadcast to our Facebook page. So if you can't find the link, you can't interact with us, but you can join us and enjoy it on Facebook. Cantor Paul, anything you want to add?
A couple things. I know there's a lot of you on our Shabbat service who are partaking in our adult Jewish learning. Wanted to mention that for our afternoon service, which begins at 4 p.m. on Monday, although we are rebroadcasting much of previous year's services, we do have a new contribution from Dr. Tammy Schneider, one of our adult Jewish learning stalwarts and brilliant professor at Claremont Graduate University. So Tammy will be contributing a new teaching to our study of Jonah during the afternoon service, which I want to highly recommend to you, having had the opportunity to have it shared with me earlier today. I also want to mention that as if the High Holy Days weren't enough of an exciting time in the Jewish world, 1 week from tonight, of course, it will be Shabbat, it'll be Friday night, but it's also Erev Sukkot, the first evening of the beginning, and the beginning of our Sukkot festival, which goes for a week and culminates 1 week later on Erev Shabbat with Simchat Torah. So in addition to our Erev Shabbat service on Friday evening, we will also be having a virtual Shabbat morning service with, in honor of Shabbat festival morning service, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. In addition to our regular evening services. And that goes for both weekends, Shabbat Sukkot and Simchat Torah the following Friday evening and Saturday. I think that's it for me.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And we have lots of opportunities to see each other in the coming days and weeks. And we hope that you will join us in many of these things. So I'm now going to move toward the conclusion of our service with Aleinu L'Shabeach. Going to once again share the Siddur with you. Page 282, middle of the page.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days and at this time in years past. Remember the recent deaths of Eric Stein, father of Aaron Stein, Bruce McDonald, uncle of Janine Mann, Rick Snyder, husband of Lori, Daniel Greenstein, husband of Bernice, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And of course, we hold all of those in our lives and all of those in our country who have 200,000 who have died of COVID-19 as well with us in our hearts. I also want to share the yortzites that are part of our community for this week. Martin Booth, Morris Greenberg, Martha Greenthal, Lou Kadish, Sally Rose Wachtel, Betty Brown, David Buffman, Saul Kogan, Ruth Cohen, Joan Inselberg, Morris Coulter, Rita Cooperberg, Mildred Meyer, Francis Richards, Louis Rosenblum, Minnie Sachs, Nancy De La Cruz, Samuel Click, Ava Henring, Stanley Hochtile, Jules Jonas, Fred Klein, Ann Krieger, Norma Lopow, May Marger, Avelina Mendoza, Abraham Joseph Rizik, Phyllis Sylvie, Beverly Summers, Eleanor Van Grove, Ann S. Bauman, Lou Jenoff, Corrine Kirstein, Tiller Resnick, Alex Scherger, Harry Seltzer, Betty Stannard, Emmanuel Stewart, Fanny Weiss, Paul Frankel, Polly Friedman, Milton Israel, Edward Kaufman, Sarah Meyer, Arlene Snedeker, Harry Fox, Irving A. Goldman, Dolores Hill, Esther Katz, Jacob A. Levine, Hyman Marks, and Herman Zoller. Join in our words of Kaddish, words of sacred memory. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
B'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dukudasha b'richu. Le'ela ul ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'miram bi'alma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for blessing. And we conclude with Biado, page 321.
Be'ado av kiduchi, be'nishan ve'a'ira, be'im ruchi keviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira, ve'im ruchi keviati, Adonai li. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your Be'ado av kiduchi, be'nishan ve'a'ira, be'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo yira, be'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li Hello, Iran.
We are going to make kiddush together and then motzi. So if you have a glass of juice or wine there and you want to grab it, you can join us in just a moment.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר לציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
L'chaim. Now you can take a little bread, a little challah. This one has chocolate chips. You can see those there for a sweet new year. Cantor Paul is grabbing his challah there. And let's join in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Gamar Tov. Hope to see you all soon. We're together tomorrow night for whoever wants to join us at 7:30 on our Zoom Siyum link for Havdalah. And then again, of course, at 7:30 for our Kol Nidre service on Sunday night. Shabbat shalom. See you soon.
Shabbat shalom.